Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our today's talk show, From Women Against Dowry. I am here hosting this talk show. Today's talk topic: gender equality and women leadership. Gender equality is not only a women's issue; it is a global issue that affects the progress of every society. Unfortunately, harmful practices such as the dowry system still exist in many parts of the world, creating inequality and injustice for women. Today, we will explore how empowering women and encouraging women leadership can help eliminate such practices and build a fair and respectful society. Our honorable guest is Gerald Saikolo. Welcome. Welcome to our talk show, Gerald Saikolo.
Thank you very much for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Thank you very much for having me on this talk show. I hope the ideas we are going to discuss will be insightful and helpful to your community. And I hope this talk show can actually transform the attitudes of various people so that the problem of inequality can actually end and we can promote women and we can have women leadership as well as gender equality. Thank you very much.
Gerald Saikolo is a member of Common Future Conversation Program at Chatham House. Please tell us about your membership and your experience about gender equality. Please share with us.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I'm a recent graduate actually at the University of Zimbabwe. I graduated with a political science and diplomacy degree. And right now, I actually venture into women empowerment through a grant which we are implementing here in Zimbabwe through an organization called Zikwa Trust. So, my experience in women leadership is actually by promoting vocational training to women so that they can have something to do, so that they can be empowered. And also the program covers a lot of things that can promote women rights. One of the things is education, and you see that education is very important to women so that they know their rights, so that they do not get manipulated by the patriarchal society in which we live in. And many cultural practices actually hinder women progress, so that in that regard, the grant that we implement seeks to leverage some sort of leverage to the women so that they can actually live a life of equality, a life which they can sustain themselves through those skills.
Thank you for sharing your experience. Uh, I want to know about how do issues like dowry or bride price affect women's right in different cultures.
Okay, thank you very much. So, our experience here in Zimbabwe, hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, thank you very much. So I was saying, like here in Zimbabwe, I think the situation is quite different from yours in Bangladesh. Actually, in Zimbabwe, it's actually men who pay the bride price and the dowry, and you would actually see that manipulation also occurs in a vice versa way from yours in Bangladesh. When here men pay the bride price here in Zimbabwe, and they get their bride, it's actually room for cultural manipulation, which tend to lead to men actually abusing these women, because it's like they will be saying like, I've bought women, like women, they are now marginalized as a commodity which can just be bought and being sold by their parents. And I feel like in your country, I feel like then the issue of this dowry is actually a different issue from our African point of view. But I think the initiative that dowry should be eradicated as a tool to perpetuate the abuse of women. I believe that it's an honorable cause which needs attention, a global attention, and it needs to be addressed even in the parliamentary circles. And it's a grassroots problem that tends to be bigger and which needs to be addressed. I believe so.
Oh, okay. What similarities do you see between gender challenges in Africa and Asia?
Okay, thank you very much. I believe the similarities I see is that of patriarchy. I believe that in Asia as well as in Africa, our society it's a patriarchal society in which most positions of influence are dominated by men. If you see, for instance, in government, you would actually see that we have like the percentage of women in this in parliamentary settings, in congressional settings, in the National Assembly. You would actually see that women are actually marginalized as decision makers. And I feel like in Asia, it's also the case in which women are subjected to work like domestic works, housewives. And I believe that the patriarchal attitudes actually marginalize women, believing that they do not have the potential to actually do what men do. Like politics is regarded as a sport for men, and I think that's one of the similarities we can see in Asia as well as in Africa, that of a patriarchal society which is dominated by men and which leads to the marginalization of women.
So, how can women leadership help challenge this tradition?
Okay, I think by addressing by women leadership, I think one of the most important thing in women leadership is empowering the women. The women should start by first believing in themselves. You'd actually see that women have a self-defeating attitude. For instance, here in Zimbabwe, women they have like the suffrage to vote, but you actually see that women have the most we have they have an advantage in that there are more women than men, but women do not vote for other women. They do not believe that that another woman is capable of leading them. They actually vote for men, and I think that is one of the problems that needs to be addressed. Empowering the women so that they can actually see that they have the potential to do those things which other men can do. For instance, being in Congress, making decisions, actually leading the country, administrative jobs. And I think by women leadership, we actually have to empower women so that they can actually believe that they can do those things. And if the women continue by having this self-defeating attitude, we will not have women who actually uh, campaign in elections. They will actually think that they cannot do it, and you actually see that the women will also be continue to being suppressed, marginalized, and actually living in the margins of the society. And that is one of the problems that women leadership seeks to address, and that is a problem that needs proper attention and eradication, so that the women can actually believe, and actually they can also venture into politics, venture into influential position, and into venture into election so that they can be elected and make decisions to promote other women.
So, what are the biggest barriers women face in becoming leaders? What do you mean that about this?
Okay, I think some of the barriers that women face in becoming leaders uh, they actually have to these are things that are actually have to do with the system, the patriarchal system. Most of the problems you actually see that they always lead to the patriarchal system. For instance, you actually see that the system actually promote that men can be ahead. For instance, socialization. Let's take socialization for instance. In schools, you would actually see that women are actually marginalized. For instance, here in Zimbabwe, you actually have more women actually doing practical subjects like fashion and fabrics, food and nutrition. That belief is that women should actually be marginalized to those things that are that pertains to the household. And you would see that this system it manifests itself in also in bureaucracy. You will see that the systemic injustice affects women mostly, as you see that many men in most influential position, they tend to marginalize women. Women applying for a job, they are not taken into those jobs because someone if that believe that women cannot do it. And you can see that that is a problem which needs to be proper attention and address. And also you would actually see that the women also do not believe in themselves. If they arise an opportunity, they do not apply. And also you can actually see that one of the problems that affect the society, one of the problems that affects the society is the issue of the issue of what do I want to say? Um, mm,
So your one point is system. So
yes.
how can we change our system? Because in Bangladesh, we cannot change our system. So please explain your system in your country from your perspective.
Oh, okay. But I need clarity. What do you mean you cannot change your system in Bangladesh?
Equal right. It is are poorly in Bangladesh. And what
Hello?
should hello?
Hello, I did not hear you addressing the question about I asked you, what do you mean that you cannot change the system there in Bangladesh? Are there systemic barriers that are too complex to be eradicated?
Hmm. So how can we young women develop confidence to become leaders in their communities?
Okay, I think one of the one of the most important is by starting to believe in themselves. And the other thing is also to carry out things, to be people who actually do the action that is being required. Because it does not make sense to have someone who wants to be empowered but do not take the chances which are given to her. So you'd actually see that it is most important that women, if they see a chance, it is most important that they take that chance and use it. For instance, if there is an opportunity, a job opportunity, an educational opportunity, they should use it. And it should be their responsibility also to do the due diligence that is needed so that they can excel in those particular fields in which they are. And also, if they excel, I think the sky can only be the limit for them. And I think they can actually be people in a society. They can actually be someone in a society if they have those skills.
So what role should men and boys play in promoting gender equality?
Hello, I beg your pardon.
Uh, I am saying that what role should men and boys play in promoting gender equality?
Okay, I think the role that men can play in promoting gender equality is by the transformation of attitudes first. Men and boys should transform their attitudes so that they can view women as human beings, viewing women as equal beings created by God. And also, it is important that men should also recognize women as capable people who can actually do something in the society. Leadership, even leadership qualities. Some women actually possess leadership qualities more than men, but if you see in a patriarchal society, some of the men does not believe that. So one of the most thing that boys and men should do is to transform their attitude so that they can actually recognize the power and the essence that women can have in leadership positions, in skills, in actually doing something which can change the society.
Okay, thank you. So, how can education help eliminate practices like dowry?
Hello, can you
How
please
can
repeat the question?
education? Okay, I am saying. How can education help eliminate practices like dowry?
Hello?
Dowry system. I want to
Yes.
say about dowry system.
Or what was the question about dowry system?
How can education help?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can hear you now. I think education can help in the dowry system by actually pointing out that there should be equality. I mean, by equality, I mean, for instance, in Bangladesh, if the women are paying dowry, then the men also are supposed to pay that same dowry. And here in Africa, we have men paying dowry, and I believe that the women also should actually pay that dowry. I think that that equilibrium can be something we can that education by theories, by hypotheses, can actually help to prove that equality should be vice versa. No one, not one gender should be subjected to doing something and another gender being oppressed to do it, be it the women, be it the men. I believe that it should be in a vice versa way. And actually, I believe that education has that power of changing cultural attitudes, harmful cultural attitudes. For instance, that process of dowry, the educational system, I believe it can help people to learn a new things that can be intellectualized to bring about a change which people can actually see the proof. People believe in proof in concrete things. So those concrete things can be used now to address these issues, for instance, of dowry in both societies.
Okay. So, what lesson can Bangladesh and Zimbabwe learn from each other?
uh, I think one of the things that they can learn each other is the opposite. Is the difference of the opposite. For instance, in Bangladesh, women are paying dowry, and it's actually not fair. And here in Zimbabwe, men are actually paying that dowry also, and they do not believe that it is fair. So I believe that to learn from each other is to eradicate that system altogether, so that there can be no dowry system at all, because we can see that from the female side, from the feminine side, it is actually wreaking problems, and from the male side, it's also have its own consequences. So I believe eradicating that system altogether can be one of the take home lessons we can have from both the Bangladesh society and here from the Zimbabwean society.
Mm. You were involved in Chatham House. So, how can international programs like Common Future Conversation support gender equality?
Okay, it is my belief that the international society is that specific power uh, to make policies that can be that can be ratified as treaties, that can be ratified into international law. We can have, for instance, we have that ACRWCW. We have the CEDAW, the Convention for Elimination Against Discrimination Against Women. I believe that by using such international forums, if we voice out our concerns about gender inequalities, they can actually be turned into law that can be ratified by countries, international law, and those forums can actually provide a voice, a platform in which those issues, because some of those issues they do not occur in all society. In European societies, they are concept in which they are not well aware of. So those forums actually give a platform for people to voice them out. So I think it is a prerogative for everyone to actually voice them. For instance, you from Bangladesh can voice them so that many people can actually know the situation there. And actually, from my side here in Zimbabwe, I can actually voice them on an international platform so that people can know what is happening, and international law can actually be a source for treaties so that conventions can be made, which can be ratified into international law, which then can actually be uh, adopted in the constitution of many countries. For instance, in the constitutions of those countries like Bangladesh, like Zimbabwe. And I believe that the leadership in our country can actually take this issue seriously in Congress and in parliaments if there are conventions which are which seek to eradicate such issues.
Okay. So, yeah, your leadership is very important. Um,
Hello.
so youth leadership is very important for gender equality and women leadership. So, our next question is what role does social media play in raising awareness about women's rights?
Yeah, I believe one of the most common answer I can give you to that question is that social media is that reach, which can reach many people, and through social media one can actually see that many people can be reached with information. And one of the most important thing and most powerful tool in which we can have is the issue of dispensing of information. But one of the most challenges that we have now is that of disinformation and misinformation. So social media should be used in a responsible manner, and I believe that if social media is used in a responsible manner, it can bring about changes in which people can actually vie for, and people can actually propose these changes through social media. I believe social media is actually very salient in our community. For instance, in the medieval times, information could reach through very difficult means, but through social media, one can see that information can be very, very available to bring about change. So I believe social media can actually be manipulated to be used to bring about change through a very wide range of audiences which can be reached by information.
Okay, thank you for your information. So, how can government stance policies to protect women?
Hello, can you come again, please?
How can government stance policies to protect women? Government.
I think government can actually help in putting up those policies. For instance, in Zimbabwe, we are a democratic society, so I believe that government can actually assist in putting those policies if the people want them through referendums, through constitutional amendments. The government can actually be very important in embracing those things. But one of the most important thing that I believe in is the people have to believe it. The majority have to believe that something is important to them, and they should be that admonition that people should actually be moved to change some systemic barriers which are entrenched in our society, which are entrenched in our constitution, that needs to be changed. So I believe that the government can only act if the majority of the people are in cognizance and are recognizing that there should be that change. So I believe, yeah, the government can actually be helpful, but I believe that people should voice out those concerns for government to act on those concerns.
So, what challenges do women leaders face in politics or public life?
Hello.
What challenges do women leaders face in politics or public life?
Oh, I believe that in politics, women face the challenge firstly of doubt. People actually doubt women that they can actually carry out big decisions, and actually, I believe that even to enter politics, the systemic barriers stand as a stumbling block for women to excel in politics on the onset. So I believe that those are some of those issues that women face in trying to venture into politics, and also the issue of women trying to enter into politics, and actually people not paying attention to them, and some people actually are ridiculing them. Uh, that is one of the problems that we face in a patriarchal society.
How can communities support girls' education and leadership?
Can you come again?
I am saying that how can communities support girls' education and leadership?
How can they support what education?
Girls' education and leadership.
Education and leadership. Yes, the community, I think, as I've articulated earlier, I believe that the community can actually support those things by encouraging people to, not by encouraging people per se, but in them also doing due diligence to identify problems in which they need to be solved. The community can actually act as an ally to women. The community, all of these things in which hinders women. I believe the root problem is the community. The community should be well aware and actually analyze if it's advantageous for a woman to hold an influential position. You would actually see that it's not just a problem of Congress not having women in their midst, but in community leadership, there should be a platform in which women voices can actually be heard in the society, in our households, in our families. So I believe that community at large and family, in fact, can also play a role in actually uh, bringing about the education that drives for change.
So, please share an inspiring story of a women leader who created change. Have you
Okay,
any?
can I
Okay,
share
please
for
tell.
my country? Do you
Yeah,
want? Do you
yeah,
want?
please, please.
Or you want a story about a women leader who created a chance in our country?
Yes, yes.
Uh, Actually, in our country, we have various women. I will start by actually in Zimbabwe, we are a liberated country. We actually suffered from colonialism in the 20th century. We lived colonized from British colonial rule, but there's actually women who played a part in those in the liberation struggle which led to our independence, and one of that women is called Mbuya Nehanda. Mbuya, it's a family name which signifies a grandparent, a grandmother. So in Zimbabwe, it's a sign of respect. She was called Nehanda, and we call her Mbuya Nehanda. She actually fought for the independence by providing spiritual guidance, moral guidance to the people, to the fighters of the liberation struggle here in Zimbabwe. And actually, she is venerated in Zimbabwe, and she is respected because of the chances she provided for us, so that we could live in a free society, free from colonialism, free from oppression, and free from apartheid, and free from racial segregation.
Okay. So, can economic independence empower women?
Yes, I believe women can actually be empowered through economic independence, because you would actually see that most women are actually exploited because of seeking economic survival. Some women are actually forced into things like prostitution because they do not have a means for subsistence to take care of themselves. So through economic independence, a woman can actually do something with their own hands, which can actually sustain herself and actually lead to something which can actually benefit her, so that she cannot be exploited by any men. Because if men continue to have that economic subsistence, the women do not have a choice but to turn to those men for survival, and in turn they are actually exploited because they would actually want to seek freedom, economic freedom, survival. For survival, the women can be exploited because they actually need to survive, to live, to have food, to have those basic rights, and they cannot do that for themselves. They actually turn to men. So by economic independence, they can actually have that freedom to do their lives and to live their lives in a way that no one can exploit them because they have the means.
What are the social pressure for women leadership?
Hello, can you come again, please?
What are the social pressures
Mhm.
for progressing women leadership? Social pressure.
Or the societal pressures. I believe some of social issues.
Yes.
Okay, so if I had the question right, you were saying the social issues that hinders women leadership and progress. So I believe some of the social issues, it's actually uh, that of belief, as I have articulated earlier. People do not believe that women uh, are able to do, and that of stereotypes. I believe that men have stereotyped women to be people who are emotional and who cannot actually make decisions which are rational, and that those stereotypes are actually can actually hinder women progress in leadership. And I believe it's a societal issues that needs to be addressed so that women can actually be believed to be people who are able. And I believe also that these stereotypes need tends to need the transformation of attitudes of people, of men, and also of women themselves, so that a society can actually have that belief that women can do anything.
Okay. Every voice matters in creating a society where women and men have equal rights, equal opportunities, and equal respect. So, what should we do about what should do what should we do about creating this equal right?
Okay, I believe one of the first thing that we should do is actually by approaching Congress, so that the Congress can actually put about laws in which women can have opportunities which are equal to men, and also by the introduction of gender equity, actually by providing more opportunities for women than men. Why? Because women have been oppressed for such a longer time. So to catch up, they need more opportunities than us men, so that they can catch up in larger numbers, so that they can motivate each other. And also, I also believe that it is also important for the international community to actually continue doing the things that they do. For instance, the ratifications of treaties, signing of treaties that promote women leadership, that promote women empowerment, that promote women economic empowerment specifically, and also by eradicating treaties that eradicate harmful societal practices like that of dowry, and also uh, by also promoting treaties that can be ratified into law that can promote women leadership.
Okay. So, There are many challenges in our society to get equal rights for women. So,
Yes.
about hmm? please
Hello.
tell, please
Hello.
tell.
I did not hear the question.
Share your experience in your country about women leadership and equal right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe that in our country, I believe that much is being done to promote women leadership and equal rights. You would find out that the government of Zimbabwe have actually sidelined 48% of the seats in the parliament, so that those seats can actually be contested by women only, so that women can actually enter into politics and actually have those seats to themselves. So if women are actually in the National Assembly, then they can actually have an influence to in the governance of this country. So it is actually one of those things that is commendable. And one of the experiences I believe is that we actually had here in Zimbabwe a vice president who was from the feminine side, who was called Joyce Mjuru, and she actually was one influential leader who actually carried out reforms in our society. So I believe by that progress, then that progress should actually keep on continuing. It should not lead to a stagnancy. That progress should actually be dynamic, so that each and every society and each and every generation can have women who can actually motivate other women to do such great things.
Do you work against dowry?
Hello.
Do you work against dowry?
At this point in time, particularly, I do not work against dowry, but I do not believe that it should continue to be done. I do not work formally as a person who has actually sought for anything against dowry, but I believe maybe through opportunities, through channels, I can actually work against it. But in the meantime, I do not work against dowry, but I do not believe that it's a norm that should continue. But through the system, I do not have the means to fight against dowry. So yeah, yes, I do not. I'm not doing anything against it at this particular moment.
So, how can you influence other people against dowry?
I believe the influence that we can have, one of the most important thing, I believe that platforms like your show, yeah, I'm actually motivated, and for me, it's a sui generis. It's something that is unique to me, that has been eye-opening, and I believe it's a platform which can be used. And I believe that here in Zimbabwe, you should also have platforms like this one, and an organization like yours, the movement against dowry. And I believe that, yeah, I'm motivated by your initiative. And I believe that by vicariously following in your footsteps, I can actually, and I can draw other people to a platform to talk about these issues on a platform like this, to eradicate these things.
Okay. So, how do issues like dowry or bride price affect women rights in different cultures, like as in your country?
Hello.
How do issues like dowry or bride price affect women rights in different cultures?
Hello. Yes, I get the question. So you were asking about how dowry and bride price affects women rights in different cultures. Is that so?
Okay.
I believe that by the economic pressures which these issues like dowry poses to the women, It's a systemic issue and a societal issue that can actually perpetuate into dominance by women being told by men that they are married to men, so they should do whatever that men wants to do. So I believe that these economic things should be addressed so that women can actually have that freedom to express themselves, to actually have a say. And this can actually happen if they do not have that pressure of being married to someone who paid something in something like a bride price to them, like they are buying them like a commodity.
Have you any inspiring life story about women who helps to increase women right?
Mm, yeah, I think I do have such an experience of a woman who actually promotes women rights. For instance, in our country, the first lady, she's called Auxilia Mnangagwa. Our president is President Mnangagwa, and her wife is Auxilia Mnangagwa. She's actually someone who promotes women rights by providing rehabilitation centers all around Zimbabwe. And as you would see that in our society, the Zimbabwean, the African society, the issue of drugs have actually led to many women actually not being able to tend for themselves. But through the First Lady's programs of providing these rehabilitation centers, she has actually led to women empowerment through the providence of those rehabilitation centers, which then tend to be a medical platform so that these women can be healed.
Thank you for giving your time, important time, with us. So we have to end our talk show. Thank you, Gerald Shaiklo.
Thank you very much for having me on your talk show.
Okay. Thank you, audience, for hearing our talk show.